One of the things you mentioned is of course the 12 medication. It brings me back to so much toxicity that we're living with, and coconut oil being detoxifying in that element of oil pulling. And that's really what we love it at the center for. We have people in detox programs going through chelation and all different types of detoxification and the therapies. And this is such a great complementary way that you could go home and daily detox through the gum, through the mouth, through this swishing, Karach therapy, as they call it, oil pulling. And I even had Dr. Dominic Nischwitz, who wrote All in Your Mouth, saying he doesn't even floss that much. He barely brushes, but he does oil pull daily.
I
And this is exactly what I told the dentist when I went yesterday. I went to my biological dentist, and my brother didn't have such great teeth. So it's kind of problematic. He used to go to this dentist a lot and have to have gum issues resolved. And I come in and she says, "You must have some different genetic code or something because your teeth are wonderful. You've never had a cavity. They're great. I don't even have to look at them really. I go in, gums are great. You're great. What are you doing? What's your secret, Cass?" Right? And I'm like, oil pulling. What's getting that's it, really. I don't brush multiple times or use anything fancy. It's all natural. And then I oil pull. And yeah, I mean, oil pulling, we'll get into it. I want to hear your take and how that works in a sense. It is a little bit time consuming, you could say, although if you did it while in the shower and kind of, you know, don't do it after and add another 15 minutes to your regimen, then it's definitely doable. And I think it's something worth it and beneficial. Uh,
100%.
and your skinny coconut oil also, I'll say that it's the peppermint too. So it's like your I don't even really use mouthwash. I just do it with that, and you get the very clean, refreshing feel afterwards. So tell me about oil pulling with skinny, and because I feel like that's such a big part of what you've done, especially with the peppermint oil. It says it on their oil pulling. Tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, we started because my husband came. He's like I said, he had, is in practice, and he just said everybody's got dry mouth because everybody's on medication.
Mm.
And then we started looking at it. I started oil pulling. It was funny. If you want to know the real story behind the story, so when I got this coconut oil, when Luke first brought it over, and I was reading, trying everything with it, and I did stick it in my mouth, and I started to swish with it. I'd never done anything like that before. I was upstairs in our bedroom. My husband walks in, and he goes, "Oh dear God, do not tell me that's that coconut oil," because I was using it for everything. I was obsessed with it, and he was like, "Oh my, do not tell me that's that coconut oil." I'm swishing away. Yeah, it is. But after, I started doing that, and then he came back and he said, and this is the thing I like as a woman, and this is just a little side note, but we eat a lot of a lot of spices, a lot of Indian spices, and a lot of and sometimes you smell a little garlicky, and you smell a little bit like spices.
For sure.
If I oil pull at night, I don't have morning breath in the morning. And no
Mm.
matter what I've eaten throughout the day, I can even do a good head of garlic and I'm just fine. So it really is, just from that vantage point, it's just a nice, refreshing, I don't have to whiten my teeth. I just oil pull. I feel like if I start to get a sore throat, or if I feel like I've got something going on, I don't quite put it in my ears and nose like the lady in Whole Foods, but but I do start to oil pull. If I start to feel like I've got something going on, I always oil pull a couple times during the day, and that's usually my little secret. It knocks it. So oil pulling, is it basically, and let's talk about the gums and the mouth, because that's such a, we used to think you just cut the neck off and anything up here is mouth and dental and anything down here is
Mhm.
medical. And that's not the case. Everything is connected. All those meridians, all of those pathways, all of those, everything is connected to the teeth, and the teeth represent, organs and all of this stuff that's going on. And even MDs at this point are figuring that. I mean, Western medicine, traditional medicine is figuring that out too.
Oh yeah.
It's not just us weirdos over here. So I think that people are understanding that, and in disease, gum disease, inflammation, plaque, it's all this buildup, and this lipid that's in this oil is powerful enough to actually dissolve that plaque. I mean, it's powerful. You're not. I think sometimes we think if it's not a real drug, then it can't really be working. And this is that those fatty acids in there are very, very powerful, and they're real. They've not been diluted with anything. I mean, that is, that's right out of the jar. And so as you are able to swish and you are actually able to help the plaque, because we're finding that those lipids really do go in and they're able to dissolve that plaque. So that is a benefit. Inflammation of the mouth. That's what, anytime you feel pain in your mouth, you would just label that some type of inflammation. Sometimes you don't know where it's coming from, but you know that there's some type of inflammation going on. And this just goes right to the inflammation and really soothes it. But it's not just putting a Band-Aid on it. Mm-hmm. It's actually going in and from a cellular level and able to go in and actually work. So you're not just Band-Aiding anything like you would if you were just taking a rinse or whatever. You're actually going in and helping yourself from a deeper level. So I think I'm a huge proponent of oil pulling for people that are sick, for people that are really sick, for people that just, and again, I think even for kids to oil pull a little bit, I know it's hard sometimes if you've got an autistic kid to put oil in their mouth, but even if they just hold it in their mouth, mm-hmm. That's doing something. That's you're able to, your body can help a whole lot. Your body is way smarter than we think it is. And so, even just holding that in your mouth, and the peppermint tastes good. And, I don't think it's offensive. And then our coconut oil, even if you just do the regular coconut oil, it doesn't have a coconut flavor. It just kind of has just a fresh flavor.
Oh yeah. No, it's wonderful. And the mouth is the gateway to the body. People need to, like you said, we like to just isolate the teeth or mouth, and it's not a big deal, but watch documentaries like Root Cause, which we had a part in. And I know Fraser, the person who was basically about and the director and behind the whole, and you'll see what kind of an effect it has on the rest of the body. Even the correlations, like you mentioned, plaque. People with plaque usually on their teeth, you'll find a correlation of plaque in the arteries. And it's such a high correlation too. We're not talking about possibly, usually you'll see 90% or higher in that. So it's kind of crazy how so much starts in the mouth. And the coconut oil is wonderful, of course, antibacterial and everything. So it helps there, but also binds to so much. That's why you spit it out afterwards. You don't swallow it, right? You need to spit it out and you need to follow certain, guidelines in doing that. But it's been a wonderful extra procedure, I would say almost, or therapy we utilize. And patients really do notice it. Your mouth is cleaner, your teeth are brighter. Like I said, my dentist, what's the secret? It's not really a secret anymore. It shouldn't be. It's oil pulling. It's really easy and it's really beneficial. So I think that's one of the most overlooked parts of coconut oil.
And one thing I do want to mention there, just on oil pulling with coconut oil, most coconut oils are highly acidic because of the way they're processed. Mm-hmm. And if you oil pull, a lot of times you can ruin the enamel on your teeth because of the acidity. You want to make sure that you're oil pulling with skinny, because that's where you really start to notice the difference. It's alkaline.
Alkaline there. Yeah, I got it here. Of course.
Yep. So it's alkaline. It's not going to ruin the enamel on your teeth. So just, I don't want to bash any other coconut oils, but at the same time, just beware. Don't oil pull with any other, because there is a big difference. And that's where you start to see the big difference. I really feel like our coconut oil goes in and it's just able to just almost remineralize your teeth. And it just, it's just doing a whole lot more than we think. I just believe there's a lot of, and people are starting to research it and realize that what's going on in your mouth with the extracellular matrix, for instance, is going on in every cell in your body. So you really are able to detox, even just through that oil pulling in your mouth. So I think there's a lot more there. I think people are hesitant because, like my husband thought I was crazy. And now, you know what? It's just, why sit there and put chemicals in your mouth to whiten your teeth when you can oil pull for 30 days and, and keep your teeth fresh and get the stains. And, there's a lot, it's powerful. It can do a lot. It's not overnight. You're not going to go in 15 minutes. You're not going to, although, sometimes one oil pull session and you notice a big difference in the color of your teeth. I mean, I'm not, but usually you're going to do that for 30 days. I mean, we have these packets now, and, that way you can, you have, how much to use. And that's the other thing. People are like, well, how much do you use? We've tried to make it so simple. Just take the packet, put it in your mouth, swish, and do it for, if you can get it for 5 minutes, do. My husband loves for me to oil pull because I stopped talking. So in the morning, I always have it in my mouth, and I make the bed or whatever, I get dressed, whatever I'm doing,
Yeah.
I just oil pull. And it just, and it also for women, I really feel like anything that is detoxing your cells is helping you with your weight, is
Mhm.
helping you with wrinkles. It's just overall nurturing to your body, and helping you in ways that it's hard to really put a handle on. But I can't imagine going without oil pulling every day. I do it every day, and I can't imagine going out without my cleansing balm with my face. You just can't. And then obviously I'm a coffee drinker, and I love, part of that is I just crave it because I just put scoops of skinny in there and I
Mhm.
just drink away.